This has one of the dumbest and kinda cool endings I've ever seen in a show. Still wasn't good though. I'll explain later. Now, let's go to episodes. How the Mighty Men have fallen, blah blah blah. Mighty Mole. So, this was actually How the Mighty Men Have Fallen. That pops off from the ending of season 1 where Skylar was evil. She ends up reversing time or some shit because of some superhero they mentioned last season. And then they actually show him in like one episode where he just keeps reversing shit during an episode during a time consuming mission. And Kaz gets mad at him. But yeah, it's not really important. He doesn't do much besides that one episode and this episode. Mighty Mole, they find out Skylar's a villain near the end of the episode. Not too long after, she's a good guy again, so it didn't really matter. There's a new episode where they bring back a joke from early season 1. And I honestly would have forgot. I honestly thought they would have forgot, and I did kind of forget it. But I remembered it immediately once I saw Gus on the planet. Well, not really Gus, but you know what I mean. If you watch the show. But I did think it was kind of lazy that they had the actor for Alan be like the big, tough guy. Like, seriously? Do you not know how to hire another actor? Before I forget, there's an actor of a show in this show that I actually really liked, and another show that I watched recently, Luke Cage Season 2. And they actually have similar names. I just realized that. Bushmaster is played in this show as a character named Ambusher. And he's a villain that ambushes people. He shows up during one episode and we never see him again, so wasn't majorly important, but it's the same actor that plays Bushmaster in season 2 of Luke Cage. Recognized him immediately, didn't know what he was from until I looked it up. But yeah, I definitely should have realized that. Stop bugging me. Oliver is a real douchebag in this episode. Then he's never that big of a douchebag again. Becomes a control freak, spies on Kaz. Just, a bit of a douchebag. A lot of these just weren't the best. Season 1 had way better episodes. Wallace and Clyde come back. Then they disappear from the rest of the season. They were in 2 episodes this season. I don't remember the other one. Key to being a hero, Kaz gets superpowers for like a little bit and he beats up a bad guy. That bad guy ends up showing up during the final. Since they haven't really, made too many bad guys, I guess. That, were popular enough to be in the final. Megahertz was really the only one that I remember. Nabrats vs. Mighty Med was boring. And it has the style of Mighty Med. Because it's, Mighty Med. But Mighty Med has this reoccurring thing. It's been there since season 1. Even though I really like season 1. Season 2 was just kind of meh. I still liked a lot of these episodes. It's not like Rabrats where it went on for too long and it wasn't good. They just clearly didn't know what to do. This is clearly just a season. This is clearly just the kind of show that needed one season only. But anyways, they do the thing that they've been doing since season 1, where they tell the same fucking joke multiple times. I love the show besides that. I don't think I mentioned that in my review for season 1. And this show constantly will have a joke, and then that joke will be repeated multiple times. They'll just change it up a bit. It's so fucking annoying. And they actually do that in this episode too, but with the Lab Rats characters. They have the same falafel joke changed up a few times. They do it 6 times, and Adam does it 3 out of the 6 times. And they just made Adam not very likable in this episode. And Leo wasn't the best either. And it was really anticlimactic because the Lab Rats episode, even though Lab Rats was not on its high horse anymore, not a very good show anymore, at least part 1 of the episode was way better than this episode. Because this was part 2. Thanks for the memory drives. We come back to some principal that we saw that turned out to be evil. Yeah, we never got to see a principal during the entirety of season 1, and they show a principal randomly during this season. And oh no, he turns out to be a bad guy. They end up defeating him, and boom, we run into him again. The mother of all villains, the mom that we got introduced to not too long ago, because they finally showed Oliver's mom, turns out to be evil. Woo! I'm pretty sure they actually showed that a few episodes too. This season was just kind of rushed. They went from one episode to another, then they started talking about another episode that happened 2 episodes ago, acting like it just happened, but then at the same time referencing the episode right before it. Like, it was just a mess. Anyway, they finally just shove in that Alan finds out his dad actually is a superhero and he's not a normo or whatever. Which I thought was stupid because there's actually a part where Alan's kinda a normo. I don't remember the episode. I think it was at the dance episode where he eats normo food. Yeah, he sneaks out of the place to go to a dance and he takes someone's food and eats it. And literally during the episode where Horace and Oliver's mom go on a date, he goes up there and steals people's food off their plates because he thinks they're like free samples or whatever, and takes shrimp away and eats it and shit. Even though it was established in season 1 that superheroes can't eat normo food or they'll turn into something or whatever. Because he ate pizza after Oliver just really wanted him to eat pizza for some reason. I don't remember the reason. I think it was like a project or something. Anyway, he turns into like some creature or something. No, he doesn't turn into a creature. He turns into an old lady. And then later he eats a regular sandwich, a turkey sandwich that Kaz has. And he shrinks. I'm pretty sure. But nothing happens when he eats all this food in this episode. So I guess that doesn't matter anymore, but they went all the way back to a random joke in season 1 that Gus looks like one of the creatures on Skylar's planet, so they could reuse Gus's actor for Skylar's planet pet. Pretty lazy. Anyway, the season ends with Kaz and Oliver getting superpowers, and they fly and say, "This is awesome," with a very bad background. And then the season ends. I guess they just forgot that his evil mom is still flying around, and they were talking about just a few minutes before about how they need to fight her. Are they gonna do something about that in the spinoff on the Lab Rats show? Usually it's Kaz who does the reckless stuff, but Oliver went with him during this weird ending thing. But it also is a good ending. I think it's dumb because of what they set up. That his mom's evil. She has one of the most powerful devices in the world. She's flying around, destroying shit, trying to conquer the world on her flying around the city and enjoying their superpowers. But if we ignore that, the ending could have been really good. Two best friends finally getting to enjoy superpowers. When that's what they enjoy, doing, is reading all about these superheroes with superpowers and being friends with all these superheroes. I also noticed one thing. It kind of happens in Lab Rats, but not too often. And that's they have a bunch of the Bionic characters, right? And most of them are just kind of background characters, but usually, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I forgot the word. But sometimes the characters will show up and they'll talk to the main characters, but they actually won't talk. It'll just be Chase or Bree or someone talking to them, and they won't even talk. For example, I just thought of this one off the top of my head in like season 3, when Chase is first a teacher in the show or whatever. The guy raises his hand to talk, and Chase just scolds him, so he never gets a chance to talk. But they have a lot of those characters in Lab Rats, but not too many, and it doesn't happen as often. They're clearly just background characters, and they just won't talk. They didn't pay them to talk. And there's so many superheroes in this show that don't talk. We have Crusher, who occasionally talks. We have Blue Tornado, who never talks in the show. We have Tecton, who talks. We have the Rock guy that I don't think talks, even though he showed up during the crossover on Lab Rats, like he was an important character. Speaking of which, now that I've seen Mighty Med, the whole incapacitor thing is fucking stupid, because it makes you think that he was already set up in Mighty Med, but he wasn't in a single episode of Mighty Med. You're like, this guy's an incapacitator, he's like this evil guy. We're the only one who knows how to stop him. It would have been better if they would have explained that they read comics or something with him, but they don't. He's never in the episodes except for this crossover, and then we never see him again, probably. I doubt he's going to be in the very few episodes of the spinoff. It's just not very good. Anyways, yeah, there's just so many superheroes in this show that don't talk. There's the fire girl that I can't think of the name of. There's this fast guy. There's just so many people that they have. There's even this girl with like bug powers that they use for the bug episode, and she doesn't talk either. She shows up during the final and takes down some villains, and she doesn't talk then either. Sometimes even the villains don't even talk. It's so weird. It's like they don't like paying people. I get it's a Disney show, so they're not gonna have a super high budget. Just don't get that many actors then. You don't need that many. It becomes noticeable after a while. Same with the fucking repeating of the joke so many times. We don't need to hear the same joke 4 times. It gets annoying. But yeah, after I start and finish the Lab Rats thing, I'm probably going to move on to starting the X-Men movies instead of watching a show. Then I'll watch a show after.